Hello dears, welcome to the latest and the officially first update of the new year 2022. Today we are here on the Poniente beach in our lovely Benidorm. Of course, the sun is shining, there's still a little bit of fog there, but nothing major. So we went out to enjoy this amazing weather here and discuss, of course, all the latest news, everything that is happening, the restrictions and the situation here in Benidorm. First of all, I want to say that the situation is kind of unclear right now. What we've been told lately is that this week is going to be the most important one here for Spain, for all regions in general, and our one too. Because in this week, tomorrow, the government will be, first of all, they will be making an official conference with autonomic regions to decide what's going to be happening with schools, with the return of children to school, which is going to be a second semester right now. Officially, our children, our babies, will be starting school from 10th of January. But what a lot of regions are asking right now, well, not a lot, a few regions are asking, in between of them Madrid, which is very strange, because usually they were the ones who always wanted to have less restrictions possible. They are asking to go back to semi-presential schooling, which means half of time at home, online, half of time presential at school, or even make it all from home. Experts say that it's a silly thing to do because schools are quite secure, but you never know what the government will decide last minute. So there's only 6 days left until children will be back to school, supposed to be back. And we hope for the best. We hope that the government will make the correct decision, because it's really not necessary to do this. Children were quite safe at school. I mean, we have filters, we have like disinfection, sanitizing, temperature controls, like a lot of things in there. And that we didn't have any kind of quarantine at school at all during this school year. So kind of sounds silly, and also it's not good for children's mental health. If they will be stressed a lot, and a lot of children will need to get back to psychologists, which is not good and not necessary at all. Apart from that, experts say that this week is the most important week for us, like the point week, the most important moment right now, because we are supposed to hit the highest peak of this sixth wave, which would mean that starting from then, situation will start getting better. They say that we're almost there and we'll be achieving it this week, and from then we'll see what the restrictions will be. Probably what the government is saying, that there's not going to be any restrictions at all. Maybe they will just limit the amount of people in the bars, restaurants, cafeterias, etc. Even though we don't really know the exact amount of cases for last few days and last weekend. You know that Spain does not give us any on weekend and on festive days, which is one of the few countries that does not do so. But the last numbers that we've had, if you don't remember, was the index of 1,775 per every 100,000 people, which is basically almost 2,000. Some regions have the index of 4,000, so just imagine. That's kind of a serious number. And the amount of cases was approximately 161,000 with something cases. Also a lot. With all this being said, the government still does not say that they want to put any kind of restrictions. Maybe they will just restrict a little bit nightlife, or like bars and restaurants and things like this. But all the rest, I mean, they kind of know already that this just has to happen. You know, people will just get it, everyone will get it, everyone will be immunized, and the situation will be better. That's it. Like, it has to happen, and it is happening right now. Actually, they're not putting anything just to stop this immediately, you know, like they did in previous waves. We just need to live with it. Government is also learning to coexist with it and not panic as they did in previous waves. So far, the only things that we know is that tomorrow the meeting about the schools, no new strict restrictions so far on the horizon, which is positive. So if you still were willing to travel, apart from the big amount of cases, apart from everything that is going on in the world, you can do so, because everything is open. There is nothing planning to be closed here in the zone, especially here in Benidorm. Everything is good if you take necessary precautions, if you wear a mask when you need to wear it, if you disinfect your hands, if you're vaccinated, if you maintain social distancing. it does not have to be a bad holiday for you. You can still enjoy your stay here in Benidorm. The second news that I wanted to share with you all is about the shopping here in Alicante area. It's something that worries us a lot because you know that our region of Alicante, of Benidorm, it's getting hot. The sun came out of the fog and it's getting hot immediately. Wow. So basically our region depends a lot not only of the tourism but also depends on how much money do people actually spend when they come here. And this is a huge issue because right now people are barely spending anything. People are not buying so many things just because the uncertainty what we're living in right now in terms of all the situation, you know, we don't know if eventually government will put on some restrictions. We don't know if people will lose their jobs once again, if there's going to be collapse once again. Probably not going to be the case, as I've told you at the beginning of the video, but people just don't want to risk anymore, which is why, especially after Christmas and New Year spendings, people spend a lot of money for food, for Christmas table, for gifts, that they don't really have so much money to spend right now in January. And what our main places for shopping centers and small businesses, even what they say is that they thought the recovery will be approximately of 30%, but it's actually of just 10%. So they basically have just enough money to pay for salaries, just enough money to pay for rent, for electricity, like supplies, and for them, for their own salary, for the business owners. That's basically it. They barely have any more money for anything left, which is not good. And the situation is worse than in 2019. So we'll see what will be happening. The inflation and the rise of price for electricity does not help either. Although I must say that today, the average price will be of 150 euros per megawatt hour, which is far from 300 something, like almost 400 euros that we used to pay, but still it's a huge amount because the average for last few years was like 40, 50 euros and now it's 150. So it's still a long way to go to recover the previous prices for electricity. And because of all this, people are not buying. And what did all the local commercial centers and shopping centers and businesses do? Exactly, they started rebajas. They started sales, which in Spanish is rebajas. Usually they start them on the second half of January after all Reyes, like Three Kings and all the celebrations. But this year they've started it already now. A lot of shops have started it now just to incentivize somehow, just to make people spend the money, thinking that they're getting quite a good deal on different products, whether it would be clothes, accessories, whether it's electronics or I don't know, toys, last minute gifts for Three Kings, for example. A lot of different things will be on sale. It's true that not all shops still have them, but slowly but surely they are getting there. Just to make sure that people would spend slightly more money right now to help all the businesses to work. By the way, remember I've told you about the Benidorm that was giving vouchers of 50 euros, which are 5 vouchers, 10 euros each, to spend inside of the local businesses in Benidorm. That was the municipal hall of Benidorm was in charge of all this. You had to go there to ask for it. They were sending you a specific note that you were able to download, and with this you go to different shops, and there were even queues in Benidorm to buy something with these discount vouchers, gift vouchers. So Benidorm at least is doing quite good with all these gift vouchers. Somehow it's making people to want to buy at least something, at least the minimum amount of money to be left in the local businesses. But Alicante, for example, Calpe and all the other areas, they are suffering quite a lot right now because a lot of tourists have left. Right now it's already, we still have some tourists. I mean, don't get me wrong, people are still walking down, but look at Poniente Beach right now. This is, by the way, it's Poniente Beach, it's not Levante Beach. Poniente Beach in Temple building right there. It's empty, there's a lifeguard right there. I'm not sure who he's protecting because there's literally no one. He's just sitting there watching the mobile phone, and that's basically it because people are just walking. There are just a few people walking here down the beach and literally a few walking back and forth from here towards the old town, and that's basically it. There's a lot less people right now since main fiestas are over. A lot of people are coming back to their native countries, and Benidorm will be looking probably even more empty than it did before. Also, very important thing to mention, I think, is in terms of the hotels. I know you always like to know what's going to be open, what's not, how the situation is in terms of bookings, just for you to orient yourselves if it's worth coming right now or if it's better to cancel. I'm no one to give these type of advices, but what I can say is what I see. And right now, there's basically 80% of cancellations in a lot of the hotels for now, like January, February. People prefer to wait a few more months or transfer their holidays for winter or for autumn this year or for next year's holidays, for example. They prefer to transfer them just because they don't know what's going to be happening. Obviously, we all see that there's not going to be any more severe restrictions in Spain, but who knows? I mean, people and the government even can say this, and then from one day to the other, things will change drastically. So as for now, 80% of the cancellations in the hotels, but they are still trying to survive with national tourism, with weekend offers, low prices, the lowest. Let's see what's going to be happening. We just need to go with the flow and see if this will be enough to maintain these hotels open. And the last news comes from La Palma Island. You know that for a long time already, for a few months, I've not been talking about this because the situation was just basically the same. But right now we have officially the news that first 1,000 people will be able to return to their houses. Of course, it's to the specific areas which were not affected by lava, those areas that have their houses still there, standing and in good conditions. They were not able to go there earlier because of a lot of gas concentration in the air, a lot of gas pollution and different polluted air, which you could not breathe without a mask basically. So they had to leave, evacuate themselves. But right now the air is kind of okay and they were able to come back. Even so, approximately 564 people are still inside of hotels waiting what will be happening, or waiting for the pre-made, wooden houses, cabins that will be given to them until they make their house from scratch, a lot of them. And 40 people are in social centers waiting for the government's help to arrive as well. The recovery will be very, very long, difficult, but at least it has started already, and first 1,000 people in the next few hours will be able to return to their home. Hopefully, there's not going to be any more eruptions for a long time, for a lot of years, because these people need to restore their houses, get their lives back, because they've had a lot of very, very hard few months right up until Christmas. And now, what about our lovely Spanish weather in Spain and here in Benidorm? I thought the best thing for us to do is, instead of just watching me talking, let you see what the weather is like. As you can see, there's still some fog, well, the one that's coming from the sea, but it's not a lot here on the Poniente beach, although Levante beach is still quite affected by it. In Denia, they say they can barely see anything. That's the same situation that we had previous few days here in Benidorm area. But in general, the weather will be quite stable in a lot of parts in Spain, and dry, getting dry with a lot less of humidity than we used to have these days. This type of weather will be here for a few more days, although starting from tomorrow there's going to be some rain and clouds coming down towards the north, center and south parts of Spain, of course, except for the islands and our lovely Mediterranean area. And on Monday, some more clouds will be coming here to Benidorm, but nothing that we could not cope with. The weather will still be nice, warm and amazing. The temperatures are still quite high in comparing to what they should be, although no 23, 24 degrees as we have, but almost there. Right now in Benidorm we have 17 degrees more or less, in Alicante 17, Balearic Islands 18, Barcelona 18, in Malaga we'll have 18 as well, Sevilla 21, Madrid 14, and the best temperature will be today in Murcia with 23 degrees still, or 22 in the region of Granada. No jellyfish right now. although maybe inside of the water, but at least here on the beach everything is clean and safe for you to walk. In Canary Islands there will be 23, 24 degrees, and Valencia, which is right there north from us, will be 19 degrees. The water temperature just 16. By the way, we can head up until the water just for you to see how it looks today, New Year 2022. The water is crystal clear, no waves, just a perfect day in Benidorm. This was it for today, my dears. I hope you enjoyed watching today's news update, the first one of 2022. I wish you a lovely and light Monday as usual, because Mondays tend to be quite hard. And I'll see you already tomorrow with a new video here on the channel. Tomorrow we'll be checking 2 brand new hotels. I'll give you all the information that I have about them. They are just amazing and in the best areas here in Benidorm. So don't miss tomorrow's video. Bye everyone.